you understand well that the success of your relations depends on the way you present yourself. So imagine you have just arrived and you are meeting your new friend. Well, let's have a look how it is going on. Привет!
Здравствуйте!
Как тебя зовут?
Меня зовут Василиса.
Я Вадим. Приятно познакомиться.
И я очень рада.
Как дела, Василиса?
Спасибо, хорошо. А как вы?
Так себе, я немного устал.
А вы откуда?
Я приехал из Англии.
Здорово. Ладно, отдыхайте.
Спасибо, Василиса. Пока.
До свидания.
And now let's observe this conversation in detail.
Здравствуйте.
Привет.
Здравствуйте exactly means be healthy or I wish you health. It's a formal greeting both in the written and spoken forms. If you address your friend, you normally say «Привет».
Как тебя зовут?
Меня зовут Василиса.
А я Вадим. Приятно познакомиться.
И я очень рада.
Before we analyze the second part of our dialogue, please note.
We should keep in mind some very important peculiarities of the Russian language.
In this conversation, I asked Vasilisa what her name is in an informal way. Как тебя зовут? The key word in this phrase sounds тебя, which means you when you address your close friend, relative, or a child. If you ask someone's name in a polite way, you say как вас зовут. Вас instead of тебя. Your reply to this question sounds меня зовут.
Меня зовут Василиса.
The other very important point is that the female or male gender is reflected not only in nouns but in adjectives and even in some forms of the verb.
When you say in Russian "It's nice to meet you", it sounds приятно познакомиться. Vasilisa replies.
И я очень рада.
That is, I'm very glad to meet you too. Attention! Vasilisa is a girl, so she says rada. It's a feminine form of the adjective glad. If you are a man and you want to say this phrase, it will sound и я очень рад.
Как дела, Василиса?
Спасибо, хорошо. А как вы?
Так себе, я немного устал.
А вы откуда?
Я приехал из Англии.
Здорово.
There are a few ways of asking your interlocutor how he or she is doing.
In this part of the conversation, you heard как дела, which literally means how are your affairs. The other phrase sounds как жизнь, that is, how is your life. In the everyday life, it isn't common to ask these questions as often as in Britain, America, or any other European cultures.
In general, the language courtesy among Russian people is a bit different. And if you ask just after introducing yourself как дела, it may embarrass or even bewilder your interlocutor. So, this sort of question is not very suitable for the first meeting with your new friend.
Sometimes you may hear a very short phrase как вы, it's more formal, or как ты. They are the shortened forms of the question how are you or how do you live. When you reply to these questions, you normally say спасибо хорошо or спасибо очень хорошо. That is, thank you, I'm well, or thank you, I'm very well. If you are not completely well, you say in English so-so or 50-50. In Russian it's так себе.
I explained Vasilisa the reason for that. I'm tired. Я немного устал. Vasilisa asked a very suitable question for this situation.
А вы откуда?
Where are you from? In this case, we use the form of politeness вы. I'm from England, I reply, which in Russian sounds like Я приехал из Англии.
Здорово.
Replied Vasilisa, which means it's great.
Ладно, отдыхайте.
Спасибо, Василиса. Пока.
До свидания.
Now the conversation is coming to the end. Vasilisa says,
Ладно, отдыхайте.
well, have a rest. I say, cheers, Vasilisa, bye. Or in Russian, спасибо, Vasilisa, пока. And she replies,
До свидания.
the final touch for this conversation is пока and до свидания. And there is the same difference between the styles.
Do you remember the beginning of the conversation? We
Spoke of
two ways of addressing, polite and informal. So it's all the same with saying goodbye. You say пока when you speak to your friends, relatives or children. До свидания sounds more formal. So you can remember that just noting two greeting pairs. Привет, пока, здравствуйте, до свидания.
well, let's listen to the whole conversation again.
Привет,
Здравствуйте.
как тебя зовут?
Меня зовут Василиса.
Я Вадим. Приятно познакомиться.
И я очень рада.
Как дела, Василиса?
Спасибо, хорошо. А как вы?
Так себе, я немного устал.
А вы откуда?
Я приехал из Англии.
Здорово. Ладно, отдыхайте.
Спасибо, Василиса. Пока.
До свидания.
If you come to Russia, Ukraine or Belarus for the first time, you might be surprised that it's a custom among gentlemen to shake hands not only when arriving but when leaving as well. Meanwhile, shaking hands with a lady is not so popular. In general, it is worth to mention that ladies in Russia, Ukraine and Belarus prefer to be or to seem weak and defenseless. In the society which has grown on the Orthodox soil, it's a man who is considered to be the strong defender of women's heart. So, gentlemen, remember, you are the knights. Good luck. Пока.